White. It's a bit of a cliche, but Chicago has long been known as a city of neighborhoods. And with that comes neighborhood restaurants, spots that can help define and feed a community. At Reset, we want to start visiting beloved neighborhood restaurants for lunch to get to know the people behind them and the reasons locals flock to them. WBEZ reporter and Reset food contributor Monica Eng recently visited a local favorite in Uptown. It's called Tesfa Ethiopian Cuisine, and it's run by the Sake family. They come from northern Ethiopia, and they want you to feel like you're eating in an Ethiopian home. Monica, how did you hear about this place?
Well, I was recently giving a talk at the Culinary Historians, and the president said, hey, I'd love for you to join me for lunch. There's this little hole in the wall. I hope you're okay with holes in the wall, but the food is fantastic. And I'm like, are you kidding? Let's go. And we got there, and then the heat had gone out that day, but the warmth in the room from the family and the servers and the food was just undeniable. I could hardly feel that the heat went out.
So it was the warmth and the generosity of the service. What else struck you about the place?
Well, they started off by, giving you some complimentary tea, and the servers were just happy to explain to you how to eat the food and all about the food. And there was Ethiopian pop on the video screen, so I wasn't familiar with Ethiopian pop music, and I got to see that too.
Did you talk to anybody who was also at the restaurant?
I did. Recently, I stopped by on a Saturday night, and there was this guest who was just kind of waiting around after his meal, after his party left, and his name is Richard Astley, and he told me why he'd been waiting. He said that he's a Gael, which means he speaks Gaelic, and he said he understands about Gaelic hospitality. And here's what he loved about Tesfa and why he wanted to stick around to talk to the owner.
I just felt so welcomed and so well taken care of that it felt very much as though I was being welcomed into someone's home, not a restaurant. One of the things that we had this evening was a tea. It's a house recipe, delicious, and that's not on the bill, right? That's simply something that is done, and he took him a minute to tell us about it too. He said, if this were Ethiopia and someone came to your house, you would offer them tea or coffee.
That was Richard Astley of Avondale. He mentions tea, and I gotta say, when you go to a restaurant, something like complimentary tea isn't ordinarily going to stop you in your tracks, but what's so special about this tea?
Well, it's got this sort of like spice, this sort of like Christmas spice clovey way about it, and they just keep refilling it, and there's something about it that just feels so homey, and it's a secret recipe, so you can't find out what's in it, but it gives you this wonderful warmth. And the hospitality that he's talking about largely comes from the young owner of the restaurant, Samuel Sake. He's an Ethiopian refugee who came here when he was a teenager and went to Chicago public high schools. And I only realized when I got home and told my daughter about the place, she's like, oh, he was my teacher at Circus Steam. And he teaches circus arts. He's a juggler and an acrobat. You can see a video on YouTube of him doing this giant wheel performance on a TEDx video. But he says that this hospitality was something that the family always felt like they wanted to bring. They wanted to make you feel like, you were eating with their mom, who they call Mama T. And here's what he said.
It's what we eat at home. I tell our customers, there's really nothing different. It's home-cooked food. We do love when people sit down and eat in one plate instead of having separate dishes, because at home, your mom always like, you finished? She dumped more in it and you get more. And so that's the home atmosphere that we try to create here. It's like we want to put it in one plate, and sometimes we do have customers like, I want it separate, and then we understand. But a lot of time it's always like, yeah, we would like to share, because all this is about sharing and connecting.
So that was Samuel Sake, talking about, and if you've ever been to an Ethiopian restaurant, often it'll all come on one tray, and that sort of represents the unity of the table, where if you eat together, you trust each other, and you're all around one dish. But if you want a separate dish, they'll bring that to you too.
Well, one of the things I really love about Ethiopian food is the bread, the injera, and oftentimes the food is placed on top of the injera, and it soaks up all of the wonderful juices and gravies. How is the injera at Tesfa?
The injera is fantastic, to the point where while I was there on a Saturday night, I saw all these people coming in just to buy it, all these people from the Ethiopian community where they're buying it. And here's what Samuel says about it.
The injera is becoming #1 in Chicago, because we make like 90-95%, and so that's the one that we sell a lot here, and that's also the one that we serve in. We also serve the 100% beef injera, which is a gluten-free, and so that one we make Monday and Thursdays. You have to call the day before. Those are two breads we sell.
And so for people who aren't familiar with injera, just describe it.
It's like a pancake with lots of holes, and it's fermented. So it's a sourdough made, as he said, with teff, which is a really it's a super grain that they've started to grow in the United States in recent decades, but is indigenous to that part of Africa. And it's got a ton of protein, and as he mentioned, it's gluten-free, and it's got a ton of fiber. But for some people, it takes a little getting used to the sort of sour flavor of it.
We're speaking with WBEZ reporter and Reset Food contributor Monica Eng about Ethiopian food, what it's all about, how to eat it, and where to find it in Chicago. She had a chance to sit down with the owner of Tesfa Ethiopian Cuisine in Uptown, and she's sharing some of that conversation with us. Well, now, as I've said, Ethiopian food is some of my favorite food, but I have to say, when people go, if it's their first time, they may be a little unsure about how to eat it, but you got a tutorial.
I sure did, yeah. I've eaten it for years, and I was never exactly sure, and boy, did I learn something. When you get the tray, there'll be injera at the base of the tray, and then a bunch of food on top of it, and then rolls of injera. And so I asked Samuel exactly how do you best use the injera to pick up the food and eat it?
You do eat with your dominant hand, maybe it might be right or left, but right hand is more common, and you do wash your hands. And I tell my new customers and people who have never tried Ethiopian, and I'm always excited to show them. That's my favorite thing. It's like sometimes so first time, this is how you eat. So I will cut a piece of bread. One part of it has more holes in it, and the other one is more flat. So the parts with the holes, you drop it on the sauce. It soaks in the sauce. So you spin it around a little bit, and then you grab it and you use your thumb to push it in. And anytime I see new customers and I'm in the store, I get excited to show them. It's the right way to get messy. It's like I would tell them, get messy. You have a sink, place to wash your hands. So we have napkins and aprons that you can use to wipe, but it's all about getting messy and enjoying the meal together.
All this time we've been told not to eat with our hands, but here you actually can. Just so people understand it, describe some of the food you get at Tesfa.
Some of my favorites are the lentil dishes in berbere sauce, which is sort of a spicy hot pepper sauce. They also have this thing called shiro. It's whipped and blended chickpeas in, again, a garlicky and oniony sauce. Oh, fantastic. They've got this wonderful beet dish. I had no idea beets were part of Ethiopian cuisine. But then they also have meat dishes if you want those. But I always go vegetarian there because the vegetarian food is so incredibly delicious.
Well, that's one of the things I love about Ethiopian food is if you have friends and some people eat meat, some people are vegetarian, you could always find a really good satisfying meal for everybody there. Now, I can hear from your tape that it sounds like it was pretty busy. How busy is this place?
Well, you had to wait maybe a half an hour if you wanted to eat when I arrived there at 8:30 on a Saturday night. And he says, for our regulars, we always tell them, please, can you make a reservation now? Because we want to be sure we can accommodate you. He said newcomers, they don't know, so we try to accommodate them. But he said, if you're going to go on a Thursday through Sunday night, please make a reservation for dinner. It's really taken off. But, it started as a little takeout window. And then people were saying, please, can you add a couple tables? And he did. And then one night, this one customer came and he decided, okay, we've got to find a way to expand. And here's the fortuitous circumstance that happened. And here's a little story he tells about it.
I remember one day, it was winter, it was very cold. And then this one customer came and he was like, hey, I would like to have a table to sit and eat. I was like, sorry, as you can see, there's no space. Come back next time, there's other restaurant nearby, I could tell you to go here and there. And he's like, no, I don't want to go. This is recommended by friends. They say I must try it, and so I will wait. I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, I will wait. And I was like, it's really cold. And he went to his car, he sat there, waited, and so when he came in and enjoyed it, appreciated, he blessed the house. And pretty much everyone comes, blesses their house. They share out, throughout their day. So because of him, I remember the family's like, we need to expand it. We need to find a little bit open space, a place where people could actually sit and eat. And as we were looking around, next door was like a cell phone place. And the guy's like, hey, so, I'm leaving. I'm gonna miss your food, but I wanted to let you guys know. And I was like, I hate that you're leaving, but it seems like the universe is throwing sign right now. So we said, you know what, we will, reach out to the landlord and see if we could, break some walls into the other space.
So he was actually able to provide some seating, but it also sounds like it provides this really lovely community space because Ethiopian food really is this sort of communal eating experience.
It really is. Everybody gathering around, the same dish, and the room, was full of families and friends. It felt so convivial. I just wish I'd been able to get a table.
Well, you recently went back to do a little video on how to eat with injera, but you found a new favorite dish. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I went in a morning. I said, hey, Samuel, can I do a super quick video of you showing, how to eat it? And he said, sure, come on down. I got there at 11, and he said, I'm going to order up a breakfast dish. And I said, what's that going to be like? It was avocados, serrano peppers, garlic, and onion in an egg dish. And holy moly, I had no idea avocado was such a big part of Ethiopian cuisine, and it is delicious. If you can get there between 11 and 1, I'd say get it. So I asked him, hey, what role does avocado play in Ethiopian cuisine?
Oh, yes. So many avocados. We used to have avocado trees back home, so we grew up eating avocado. So avocado being used in so many different ways. The eggs is one way, and then we have avocado smoothie that we also make here. We eat avocado on its own. So many different ways. I know back home, females would use it for their hair. Everything, you can put avocado in it and it tastes delicious.
Well, I'm a big fan of avocado, so that all sounds good to me. Well, we've been talking about Tesva Ethiopian cuisine, but do you have any other spots people can try out?
Oh boy, for Ethiopian. Well, there's always Ethiopian Diamond and Ras Dashen and Demira. So Ras Dashen and Ethiopian Diamond are in Edgewater on Broadway. Demira is at Lawrence and Broadway. So, if Tesva is too full, you can hop over to those other places. All of them are excellent.
Oh, that all sounds good to me. That's WBEZ reporter and Reset Food contributor Monica Eng with everything you need to know about Tesva Ethiopian cuisine at 1023 West Wilson Avenue in Uptown. She spoke with owner Samuel Sake. And head over to WBEZ.org/reset to see a video of him showing how to eat with injera. That's the fermented sourdough bread, or it's kind of like a pancake, and it's a central part of any Ethiopian meal. Monica, thanks so much for sharing this with us.
Thank you.
And we want to try to get to your neighborhood to try